Hello, what's going on? This is Alex Craig from Alex Craig Groundhopping, or Alex Craig, or whatever you know me as. We are here on our first episode of the Voice of the Sky Blue Army podcast. Today we're joined by Max Marziano.
Hello everyone,
Yeah.
How are you doing?
He's also a Coventry City YouTuber, Coventry City fan, just like myself. So we are pretty much less than a day away from the start of the League 1 2018-2019 campaign for Coventry City. We're at home to Scunthorpe tomorrow. We've made a lot of new signings, a few players have gone, and Mark Robins' side, with pretty much the momentum that we have right now, top favourites to have a decent season on our first season back in League 1. You mean, I'm not happy to be in League 1, but that's a different conversation for a completely different time. Yeah. Anyway, where should we start? Because there's a lot that we've got to talk about.
Do you reckon we should start with Wembley?
I think.
What you thought about that game? How do you feel at the end of the game?
I might go a little bit back, and I might go to the playoff semi-finals because if you think of, I look at that completely differently as how I look at the whole campaign in League 2. Because that Morecambe game, the 0-0 draw, was actually so irrelevant come the end of the season anyway. I know we made the playoffs and everything, but that was probably one of the worst games of football I've ever been. Yet I left pretty happy and excited, and we clapped the players and everything like that.
Round the pitch.
Yeah, ran on the pitch as well. You did a knee slide, I remember seeing that, and you just fell flat on your face. And then...
Voldemort, not to forget.
Yeah, and then obviously a week later, we had a night game at home to Notts County, drew 1-1. Things I remember... Pardon?
So much rain.
Oh, yeah. Things. That's what I was about to say. Things I remember was the drainage just didn't work at all. In the first half, we were abysmal. They got a goal, and we had a penalty, and I said the famous words, "It's not gone in yet," and it just went in. Yeah, I think that's one of the moments for me. Usually I'm pretty excited for a penalty, but I was so nervous and so just thinking like we're not going to go up, and I was so negative. I just thought we're probably going to miss this. Like McNulty was, our best player last season, and I was expecting him to just absolutely spoon it, or him to hit the post, and it to be ran in by Biamu, who would then hit the crossbar, and it'd be headed away by one of their defenders.
Ryan didn't score.
Oh, then Ryan Ainsworth have just came. I don't think he was even on the bench because he wasn't. I can't remember the last time I actually saw Ryan Haynes. Sad to be honest. Anyway, then on to the away game. As a Cov game itself, if not the best game I've ever been to.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
the atmosphere, everything.
Yeah. The thing is as well, people ask, someone asked me last night, what was the worst away game you went to last season? I said, Notts County in the league, because it was probably one of the most Coventry City games ever. We were 1-0, we were 1-0 down, and Ponticelli, one of our academy graduates, equalised. And we're all going mental, and I was back, right at the back of Meadow Lane, pretty much on the halfway line. So I'm stood on a chair, and we're all celebrating. And before I even got off this chair, John Stead had scored a second goal for Notts County. It was literally mate, we were on the pitch, mate. Some of our fans were on the pitch. There was smoke grenades. If we'd have drew that, if we'd have even won that game, it would have been brilliant, and it probably would have been one of my best. As well as we all saw what happened. Did you see what happened in all the pubs and stuff? I don't really want to go into that. Our fans were a bit wild that day, to say the least.
Crazy.
Yeah. Long story short, I'm just pretty much just stood in a pub watching police fight fans, and I'm about 1.5 meters away. Just enjoying my drink. Okay, let's carry on. Sanchez just stood there confused, and then we went to Nottingham Forest, and he had a good pie, and it was whatever.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Into the Forest. I did like that.
Yeah.
I also remember how dirty Notts County were. Their players, oh my god, such a dirty team.
Yeah, they were very what's the word? They remind me of Wimbledon back in the day. They just wasn't as dirty, if you get what I mean. But they were still a dirty team for the likes of the teams that we played. Then moving on to Wembley, then, as that was just... Was it better than last year? What do you think?
To be honest, this is my honest opinion, I thought last year was even better because it was the first time I've ever seen Coventry at Wembley, and it just felt a bit more, there was a bit more of an excitement inside me almost. Like, this time, I loved it, don't get me wrong, but we played at Wembley last year, do you know what I mean? Like, it sounds weird, but honestly, I was more nervous trying to hold on to that lead when we were playing at Oxford. I don't know, what about you? What do you think?
I completely disagree with you. Like,
yeah.
I didn't. I'll be honest with you. The Oxford game, what's the word to put it? I didn't feel any much. I don't know. It just felt like we'd win a game. Like, to me it didn't, because it was just a cup game. I'd only been to like 2 other games in that competition. I didn't really care at all, and also me being such a negative fan. We were playing Peterborough the next week. I'm like, we're going to go down next week anyway, you know, all this. I was more worried, and yeah, there was a bit inside of me that was happy. But if you look at the team, there was no real player that you would look at. George Thomas was probably the one player we looked at and thought, wow, like he's just signed for Scunthorpe, like, on loan. Like, if you look back on the team that played that day, we had the likes of Jordan Turnbull, a player that we all put down all season. Lee Burge at the time wasn't exactly what's the...
He was lacking.
Yeah, he was lacking. He wasn't... I think he had a really good season last year. And same with Jordan Willis. I think we've been very lucky to keep him. Very lucky. I don't know how he's still at the club, but we've been very lucky to keep him.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he's had a lot of recurring injuries, I think.
Oh yeah, but if you think of it, when we got relegated, he could have went to a good solid Championship mid-table side. You know, he stayed with us, and there was a lot of. If you come back to this time last year, there was still a lot of fear that we were going into the Notts County home game, thinking that he was going to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. True.
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Willis. I've got a lot of time for him. He's a good little player for us as well. But yeah, going back to the Wembley situation, I think this year was so much better. I felt more like it meant something when we won, and there was more of a reason to celebrate. You know, like.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think last year was such a good season for many reasons. We had that FA Cup run. We had got to Wembley, and we won quite a lot of games.
Yeah.
We lose a fair few, but we've won a lot more than we have done in past years. And I think that was why I was more pumped for last season, because we hardly won. We were awful, weren't we? Let's be honest. And I think it was the only bit of happiness I felt all year that year. But that being said, I do agree. I think Wembley this season, well, last season now, was unbelievable. Like, to actually be able to move up a league from winning, it was just amazing. I think the atmosphere was crazy. It was just great, wasn't it? I did really enjoy it. But I think last year tops it just that little bit more. Sadly, it's controversial.
Yeah, as I'm going to say, I do completely disagree with you, just to the fact that the whole Exeter game and the whole build up to the game as well, like, just meant so much more. And especially, like, I'll be honest, like, you didn't really follow the team too much last season in League 2, much like a lot of fans. And for me, like, for the first half of the season, I was very, like, I had a season ticket, but I was very, like, I don't want to go. And
I didn't like it the Rico last year when I went.
No, I didn't. Well, even with a season ticket, I missed quite a few games. The Forest Green on a Tuesday night. For anyone that knows, I live quite close to the ground. Like, I could get there in half an hour, easy. But some games like that, I was like, no, I don't want to go. And the last game I missed was Swindon at home. It snowed that day, and I was going to AFC Telford, and the game got called off. And City won that day, and I was, you know, just after that we had MK away the week after. And then I was like, and the week before as well, we played Exeter away, and I was one of like 350 odd people with a ticket. which was pretty funny to be fair, considering like the next week I didn't want to go and watch us play Swindon at home. But I've seen us play Swindon about 5 times. And then after that, I pretty much just didn't want to miss a game, you know, home and away. We had that momentum, I'd say, mainly in the second half of the season. And yeah, I look back on games like Crawley away, which were so good and they shouldn't have been. Newport away was probably one of the funniest because I got asked, I just said a minute ago, what was the worst away game? Someone put in brackets Newport because I was like asking for questions. Someone that put Newport. And I was thinking, Newport was actually pretty good, like, come to think of it. It rained the whole game. We all got soaked. There was no roof. It was bank holiday, so half the pubs were all shut as well.
So you need your beer before you game.
Yeah, but as well as that, like, it was a pretty good result. We got a point. The fans were good. And after that as well, I think as if we lost 2 games after. We lost the Yeovil game, which we won't talk about, and the Notts County game.
Oh, the Yeovil game.
But after them 2, except the Lincoln game, we were actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think the turning point in our season was Mansfield. I think when he gets sent off in like the first couple of minutes of the game, and Johnson Clark-Harris came on and rescued us a point, and I think...
Oh, I'll be honest, I was at that game, I'll be honest. I didn't think, at the time, it was that good. Like, the draw. I I don't know, I didn't really feel too happy with the point. Looking back on it, I think, whoa, that was a big changing point. Because we were in such a bad position at the time. When are we ever really good in February? I don't even know. But we turned it around at that point. Getting that point, I've said point about 20 times, but getting that point against a solid team like Mansfield was very vital. But even when the goal went in, it was good scenes, but about 5 minutes after, I still had the negativity, like, oh, we didn't win. So, yeah, I ask a lot of people, like, what was the best away game? No one will say Mansfield, but a lot of people, if I said what was the game that turned it around, everyone will say Mansfield, which is completely true.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's massive.
Anyway, should we move on?
Yeah, we shall.
We shall move on. League 2 is behind us until we talk about until we talk about next season. But we won't get into that. Scunthorpe tomorrow. What's your prediction?
Well, we signed a striker, which was on every Cov fan's wish list, if you like.
It wasn't Connor Chaplin.
Decent. He sounds very decent. He's got a decent track record in this league. So now we've got a striker in. I can see us maybe winning 3-1. Quite a big scoring game. But I think with a striker now, we've got a bit more of a threat going forward. But Scunthorpe are a good side. You've got to remember they finished 5th in League 1, I believe, last year and missed out on a playoff final again. But can't underestimate.
Yeah, they lost to the eventual winners, Rotherham, didn't they, in the semi-finals? But if you look at their squad, I know Matt Gilks is out at the moment, their goalkeeper, which could be a good positive thing for us. But they've also got the likes of Lee Novak, Josh Morris. Yeah, Josh Morris is a good player.
Yeah, with Tony as well, or was he on loan?
Pardon?
Because he was a...
Yeah.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, he was very good for them last year. I remember him seeing when I watched Scunthorpe on TV, because they were on TV quite a lot last year, I thought.
Yeah.
Every time I saw him play, I just thought, he looks a threat. You know what I mean? So, what about you? How do you think the Scunthorpe game will go tomorrow?
I think we'll get a point. I'm gonna be honest with you. A 1-1 draw would be okay. 2-2. Yeah, as I've said, they've got a decent enough team. It's just from the pre-season I've seen, and I know you should never judge a team on pre-season. This time last week we weren't ready. So what's happened in 7 days, I don't know. Yeah, we brought in a new striker who's signed a permanent deal, so I think he's going to have a bit more of a passion as if he was coming in on loan. He's come from Huddersfield. Obviously, he wants to get back to the Premiership. That's what's on every young player's mind. You got to play at the highest level as you possibly can. So he's going to want to come here and make a name for himself with us. So I think
he's going to make a good impression for the Cov fans.
Yeah.
I reckon there'll be quite a lot there on Saturday. I do think it'll be a good turnout.
Yeah, because I remember, I know this might seem weird that I remember this, but a few years ago when we played Wigan at home, I was in the queue because I didn't have a season ticket at this point. I was pretty young, and I remember this like old couple behind me. We're talking to someone, and they were like, "Oh, he only goes to the big games, or the first and the last game."
Oh.
So yeah, a bit of me was like, I hate them fans, but at the same time, it kind of was like, yeah, quite a lot of people do come to the big games and the first and the last game. Like, think of it, a couple more thousand went to that Morecambe game just because it was the last game of the season.
Yeah,
you know.
we were in a good position.
Yeah, and as well, like,
if you want to spend it, you spend it how you like. You know what I mean?
As well, like the whole Wembley experience, I think will bring more fans. As well as us playing in League One as well. You mean, I know a lot of people. I've got this kind of from going to football games, and I've been to like how many now. A lot of people have this kind of.
Well, we can't not anymore.
Yeah, not that. There's that, and I'll get on to that in a minute. But this kind of idea about younger people at games, like, and I mean like 12, 13-year-olds. I don't like the ones that go and stand with the singer's corner and try and think they're something, if that makes any sense. But when you go and support your team at a young age and whatever, I love that. I mean, that was me when I was 12. I was sitting in like bottom of block 16 with my mate, like that was me. Like, you know, I've done it. And you know, fair play to kids that come, because now society is different than what it was 20 years ago. Like, my parents supported Coventry City. Well, my mum supports Bradford, but that's a completely different conversation. You know, a lot of people would support their local team 20 odd years ago. I don't know if it was because we were in the Premiership or not.
Everyone likes the big teams.
Yeah, everyone supports Man. I don't know why. Right, Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal. But recently, a lot of people have started supporting Man City, and the thing that's got to me were like, you've only been good for about 5 years. Like, I've been supporting Coventry for what, 12 years now, and we've never really been good. But the people that supported like Liverpool, Arsenal, they don't see it. And again, I'm not saying if you support Liverpool or Arsenal or Man United or whoever, Spurs, don't support them. I'm saying come and watch Coventry every week if you can, when you
fall in love.
Yeah, it may become your first team. You mean, this is something I don't think Sancho would want me telling anyone, but when he first actually started coming to the games, he supported Man United. This was about 3 odd years ago. Yeah, Sancho's a changed man now, goes home and away, but I guarantee there are a lot of people that go to the games just to watch football, and I respect that.
Yeah, so do I.
I think as well, like, sorry to interrupt you, but as well, when we play teams like Sunderland, I think a few more thousand will come just because it's Sunderland, and when we played Stoke, there were so many more that came because we're playing Stoke.
Yeah.
So that's that.
A big turnout. Also, did you notice at Wembley how many fans came who weren't actually Cov fans? Like, they were from the area, they're from Cov, the local areas, but they didn't actually support the team. Like, they supported big teams like Man U. I can remember a lot of my mates who support, like to Everton, Liverpool, Leicester, they all came because everyone liked Cov. I think a lot of people do like Cov, but because we've been just so bad so recently for so many years, I think it's hard to support a team like us. I think it's so much easier to support a team who win trophies every year, always on your TV. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't understand why you have friends that support Leicester that came, but I understand the rest of it.
But Leicester fans, you know, they're not normal, are they?
Let's be honest, man. Let's be honest. They won the Premiership once, and they think they're just this massive club now. Blackburn won the Premiership once. They're in, they were in League One last year. But yeah. Anyway, back to the game. I think we've kind of off track the whole onto attendance, whatever we're talking about. Yeah. Let's talk about what team you think is going to start. I've just said that, and I generally can't think of an 11. But I think we should probably start with the defence, the back four. Would you Burge in goal, right?
Yeah, definitely Burge. 100%.
Yeah.
I agree.
My
name's left back.
No, like just quickly on Burge. Like, I don't think O'Brien's ready. I think he's a number one keeper for a League Two side. Definitely, he would fit in at a good team.
100%.
But he just doesn't have the number one feel for us. I think Burge has had to prove himself a good 30,000 times.
Yeah.
Burge has proved himself. Like
Left back position.
left back, that's a tough one. You've got Junior Brown.
It's a point for that one, I think.
Junior.
That's a competitive position, 100%.
A lot of people have. You mean on Saturday? People were saying that Junior Brown's going to be very vital in our season. A lot of Shrewsbury fans have said he'll be a good player for us. He does have a bit of a dodgy knee, I've heard. But then also Brandon Mason, from what I've seen, I think has been gone under the radar. He's been quite good for us, and
Twice quite many Cov fans, I think. I think every Cov fan expected him to be the backup for Junior Brown.
yeah.
He's the best left back in League One according to Shrewsbury fans.
Honestly, I thought exactly the same about Brandon Mason when he first signed. I thought, well, this will be Haynes' replacement, and Stokes' replacement will be Junior Brown.
Yeah.
But that's good, because if you think of it, Brandon Mason is probably, is better than both of them. So really, our second choice is better than last year's first choice. So we've already, our left flank is a lot stronger than it was last year.
Totally agree. Who would you go with then if you had to pick it on the day? You're Mark Robbins. Who would you pick in left back?
Well, I couldn't say if I was Mark Robbins, but if it's me, I'm gonna pick. If it's me, I'm gonna pick Brandon Mason. I've liked him. I think he's just edged Junior Brown. I don't know. It could change. It could go up and down. One could be a world beater, and we just not. So maybe we've watched friendlies. To be honest, I've seen us play 4 times. The first game everyone was crap, but Brandon Mason was actually pretty good, and that Alessandro played looked lively. The Stevenage game, Junior Brown ran up and down. He came back very quick. He was a good winger, as well as a left back. Like, he was playing the left back position, but he felt more like a winger, and he was like a left wing back.
Yeah, he's good going forward.
Yeah, and then the Derby game, I don't know, because the sun was the only thing I actually watched. In the second half, I couldn't see anything. And then the West Brom game, I think they both played pretty good. So it's hard to decide. But I'm going to pick Brandon Mason.
Brandon Mason. So I'll agree with you on that as well. I think he's solid. He's a prospect. What about in centre back and 2 centre backs?
It has to be Hyam and Willis now.
Hyam Willis. Ooh.
Because Davis is Davis is banned, isn't he? Davis is banned, and McDonald's gone to Wimbledon, so it has to be Hyam and Willis.
But no choice. I agree. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Unless he puts Jordan Thompson in for some reason, that would.
I think he could be in the K squad, but he won't start.
I'd like to see him probably go on the bench. I'd like to see him come on a few times this season as well, because
I can see him feature a bit more.
He scored a good goal against West Brom as well.
Right. Yeah, it was decent. He looked good. He looked promising. So, right back, like Chicken Good on Sterling or Jack Rimmer.
It's got to be Jack Rimmer. I'm not going to argue with anyone. It's got to be Jack Rimmer. And I hate to say it because Sterling looks very good, but just loyalty, isn't it?
He was consistent. Sterling is only 18 after all. He's only played in, the Coventry game, didn't he?
Yeah. He played in the West Brom game for the last 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I think to get into the squad, he's got to be training a bit more in the squad. I don't know. I think Jack Rimmer's been so good. He's been solid. But defensively, I sometimes do doubt him a bit. I do think he's a bit suspect defensively, but I think he's reliable overall. And he had a good season. And he played every game, I think, so I totally agree. I think Jack Rimmer.
Another thing, just quickly, I think Sterling's only played like a couple first team games in his career. He's played like a few League Cup games for Chelsea, but he's been playing for that England under-20 squad, and I think he won a World Cup with the England under-19s. I don't know if that's correct, or European Championship or something last year. So I also heard this on the other podcast I was talking to you about earlier. Something about Tom Bayliss being picked for England quickly. How it's so strange that he was picked for England, because if you look at all the other sides, well, all the other players, they're all playing for big English sides, and he's just playing for Coventry City.
Yeah, it's true. He did well to get into that squad, to be fair. He didn't play a lot, but it's good experience for him to be playing at that level, because I think that's where I'll be in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, I'm proud to see him in the squad. So that's, what position would you play? We've got to play a back four.
Back four.
Yeah, I'd say that we'd play the back four. What formation would you play then?
You see, I don't know. I think we've got so many midfielders to accommodate. We've signed so many, haven't we? Let's be honest, a lot. And I think it'll be hard. I think Michael Doyle will start. I do, but I do firmly believe he'll be a bit more of a squad rotation player. Can't see him maybe playing as much as he has done. I do think because we've signed Abu Agogo, I think he could be a long-term replacement for Doyle. That's what I've been thinking.
Well, I like the look of Abu Agogo, especially he's coming here with such a good reputation from Shrewsbury. However, I don't think Doyle will be dropped. You mean, can we drop Doyle?
Yeah,
really?
I know, it's true.
Like, yeah, he's our captain, but we're playing in a completely different league, and he must have left Portsmouth for some reason anyway, because when they got promoted, he was dropped from the squad completely.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, but he's 37 now.
Yeah.
36, 37, so age isn't on his side.
Could potentially be his last season then, pretty much.
Yeah, I do think it'll be his last season. I do. I think
Yeah.
I'd like to see Abu Agogo. I think he was the Shrewsbury Club captain, very solid player. Shrewsbury didn't want him to go. I do think it could be a straight swap for Michael Doyle in the future. We've got to talk about Liam Kelly as well, because in the second half of that last season, he was superb. Don't agree with me, but I think he was brilliant.
I think I'm not going to agree in a way, but I'm not going to disagree. I don't think he was great. I don't think he was superb, but I think he was decent. Like he had a good, when he came back from that injury, because he was injured around December time. When he came back from that injury, I think he did play pretty well. The only concern I've really got for Liam Kelly is I think he's injured now. I feel as if he's going to be left out of the side. If you look at our midfielders, we've also got Jordan Shipley as well, who I think is going to have a good season. Tom Bayliss, obviously a go-goers came in. And then obviously we've got Doyle, who's, I think Doyle's going to be fighting for a place. But, you know, I hate to say it, but I do think Doyle could retire this year, and like, that's weird. But yeah, if you get what I mean, yeah, he's been here for so long in his whole career. This could potentially be his last season.
Yeah, I do agree. Moving on to Shipley now, I rate him a lot, but I don't know if he can get a starting place this year. I think he will struggle because competition's a lot higher than it was last year in midfield.
I actually disagree with you. I think Shipley's going to have a decent-ish season. Just to the fact that if you look at what we have with Bayliss, and Bayliss came out as such a big player last season, Shipley was just there, but he was a good player. Yeah, but I feel as if Shipley's going to... Yeah.
What about Tony Andreu now? Come back from a long-term injury.
Everyone's saying he's going to feel like a new signing, aren't they?
Yeah, everyone is, because he was injured so early, wasn't he, last season?
Yeah.
I think it was against Shrewsbury
in the Checkatrade Trophy.
League or something, I don't know.
No, it was the Checkatrade Trophy, I think, the Shrewsbury home game. He got injured.
Yeah.
So I think if I was to go with a formation, I'd play 4-3-2-1 with 3 in the middle, 2 wingers, and 1 up front. So pretty much 4-3-3, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'd play an attacking midfielder in Bayliss, probably Shipley and Andreu. Well, no, because we can't drop Doyle.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I want to see Shipley, but then I want to see a go-go, but then I want to see Doyle. It's like Would you put Shipley on a wing? Because I don't think he's going to start Reseller Sane tomorrow.
You know, I didn't like Shipley in the wing. I think he's a good player. He's a very good prospect, but I thought he was a bit wasted on the wing. I don't think he's not naturally electric in pace, is he? He's got a bit of a skill about him. He's a great set piece specialist. I think his free kick against Luton was superb. I think
Cov gets goal at Wembley as well.
Yeah, Cov gets the goal, don't be wrong. But I think he's a bit wasted on the wing, but we don't have any other options, do we, at the moment? Because Jody Jones, another winger, who's going to be like a new signing, he plays on the right wing, but he's still injured. So, I don't know, I think it could be between him and Reece Alassani for that position to begin with.
Yeah, I don't really know what to think of Reece Alassani at the moment, because I don't really know if he's going to be in the first team. I don't know if he's going to be with the under-23s or what. Potentially I want to see Biamu tomorrow, but could we put him on the wing? I highly doubt it.
No, I can't see him being on the wing. I think his aerial threat, he's so good in the air, but he's improved so much. I think.
You know what? I don't think I'm actually going to play a striker in my team. No, not a striker, a winger. I think we could play three in the middle with Doyle, Agogo, and Bayliss.
Yep, okay, I agree with that.
And then play more of an attacking midfielder in Andreu. Yeah, so just play straight up the middle. Probably, I wouldn't say push Doyle and Agogo out wide, just have them on the outside, then right in the centre, Bayliss, who can go up and down the field, okay, more of a Ben Stevenson type player. And then up front, I would play Biamu and the new signing from, I can't think of his name.
Is it Hillwiller or something?
I'm an awful person.
Jordy Hillwiller or something.
Hiwola, that's his name.
Hiwola,
that's his name. Yeah, I think we'll play him and Biamu up top. I think if we get an early goal, I always say this, I think we'll be okay. But yeah, at the same time, you can't misjudge Scunthorpe as well. Wimbledon next week as well. I don't think we can misjudge them being so early in the season. They're going to want to get good points. I'm not looking forward to going there, as bad as that sounds. I've not heard anything too good about the ground. But yeah.
But I think the problem for us is a goal scorer. I think Biamu has a lot to prove. I think the first 10 or so games will be crucial to determine if he starts playing. Because I think Robbins will play him, but he's got to score. He's got to put goals in the back of the net because he creates opportunities, and opportunities are created for him. But so many times we've seen him scuff up his shot. Like against Crawley, he had that tapping, I think, and he put it wide or hit the post. And it's like chances like that he should be scoring. But I firmly believe he'll start. I do agree. I think he's got a lot to prove.
I think you have to also look at Biamu as well, because I didn't really dislike him last season because I looked at him and thought he played for Sutton United last year. He's made the step up to the Football League and he's adjusting to it. It's a completely different ball game. He's went from playing on an AstroTurf Gander Green Lane pitch in front of about 1,000 people, probably one of the most awkward stadiums I've ever been to the Rico, a 32,000 seater. Yeah, okay, it's not full. A grass pitch which is top of the range for about 2 months a year. So it's a completely different environment. He's playing a higher level of football as well. And the only team I could really compare to a League 2 standard that were in the National League when he was there were Tranmere and Lincoln. I wouldn't even say Forest Green were your standard League 2 side. So yeah, but you know, I think Biamu will have a very promising season. 10-15 goals will be perfect for him. I don't think he'll be our top scorer, but I believe he'll have a good year.
How do you reckon he'll do?
He's came from Huddersfield and he's gone on loan previously to Bradford and Fleetwood. He's played in the league before, obviously. Then Bradford being a solid team. You know, if you've scored goals for Bradford, yeah, Bradford are like what's the word for it? The team that shouldn't be in this league. That's not a word, okay. the team that shouldn't be in this league, but they are in the league due to the fact that they just can't get their job done. A bit like Derby in the Championship.
Yeah,
they
just can't do it, can they? They just can't make that next step, are they, to get into the higher league. I agree.
Yeah. And he's came from Huddersfield, so he's going to want to get back to the Premiership, like I said earlier. As bad as that sounds, because he's going to put the passion in as well. He signed a permanent deal for us, meaning he's a Coventry City player now. I don't know what that means. You should be proud to wear the shirt. Don't know what that means to him or whatever. But yeah, he's been training with the players as well. We've also forgotten about Clark Harris as well.
Yeah, I know. I was just about to mention him. I don't know why we signed him. To be honest, he's on the highest wage.
I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. I'll be honest. I never really liked him.
No.
Even when he scored against Mansfield and Brighton, and when he scored against Barnet in that boring game, and it was just a tap in from about 3 yards, run over to the posh stand and took his shirt off. The posh stand. I've sat there about 4 times in my life. 3 of them were because the main stand was closed, and 1 of them because I got a free ticket about 4 years ago.
That was fair. My season ticket was a couple of years back. But
yeah. I also watched the Olympics in that stand as well back in 2012, but that's completely irrelevant to this conversation. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, I just.
Clark Harris, what do you think about?
Yeah, I just feel as if Clark Harris isn't the player we need. I don't think he could ever be a goal scorer in League One, and the rap he came from with the Rotherham fans was not positive at all. You mean, I spoke to a Rotherham fan when we signed him. He's like, "Oh, we can't score and all this." That's in League One, so I was like, "Okay, maybe he'll do a job in League Two."
Exactly, very true.
But now we're in League One. He's already not done a job. We signed him on, what was it, a 3-year deal? 3-year deal? Something like that. And you said he's on the highest wage as well.
Yeah.
Meaning that he's on more than Doyler. And he's on more than whoever else is on good money.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. Because he doesn't score goals. Like, I don't know if that money could have been spent elsewhere, that wage, if you like. I don't know.
Vincenti could have. I don't know why we've still got Vincenti. I'm perfectly honest with you.
I think I've seen it in the club shirt.
Do you want to know? Do you want to know what's funny? If you go on the Coventry City YouTube channel, they've got a playlist from signings from the League 2 season. And Vincenti, I was expecting him to be like foreign. He was full on like English, like accent, like more English than like Tommy Robinson, pretty much. Barry Stanton. You know, he had a more British voice than that, and he's saying, I've got experience in this league, I've won promotion before, you know, I'll be able to give that to the young players and all this, I'm excited for the season, I think I'll be one of the most valuable players in the squad. I know I said that pretty fast, but this is Peter Vincenti we're on about.
But he hasn't, he's done absolutely nothing to contribute to our season. I think we've given him a lot of chances, I really do. But he hasn't proved himself. I think he's got to go. I don't know why we didn't release him.
Yeah.
He's got rid of him completely.
Anyway, we're going to top this off. I'm going to ask you one question, and one question only. Where do you think we're going to finish this season?
Well, I made the predictions here, which went out today. So
yeah.
I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to give Jason any extra information. I think we'll finish in 5th position this year. I'm being optimistic. I'm being ambitious. You can say anything you want, but I think we'll do quite well. I think we've got a decent squad now. We've got a striker who can score. Who knows? What about you? Where do you think we'll finish?
Well, everyone's going to call me negative. I think mid-table, 9th or 10th. Yeah, I just don't feel as if this is first season back. We're going to go and get the playoffs or promotion, which is. I think I'll be honest. I'll accept 10th or 11th. Yeah, we've got a very, very good team. You got to look at Portsmouth last year. They had a very good team as well that were good enough for promotion. Just they had to adjust to the league, and maybe they'll get promoted this season. Who knows? But yeah. Anyway, that's going to be it for this podcast. Thank you for coming on, even though you're pretty much probably going to come on every week and should get more people on. Yeah, week in, week out. So yeah, that's it for this. If you've enjoyed this podcast, make sure you subscribe for more. Turn post notifications on and leave the like on this video as well. Show your support. If you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter at AlexCraigGH. Yeah, the links will be in the description to all that. Anything you want to plug?
If I want to plug, I'll plug my YouTube channel, Max Marziano. Just search in on YouTube. It's a rare surname, so you should find
There'll be a link in the description.
Max Marziano.
Yeah.
That's what I'll plug, Alex.
There'll be a link in the description to that as well. Don't worry. But yeah, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
This is the